Hello and welcome back to the Watford Way. A 0-0 draw at home against Hull City for Watford yesterday afternoon at Vicarage Road. And I have to say, in terms of 0-0 draws, it was more on the entertaining side of 0-0 draws. Sometimes, like the Preston game, they can be very boring, very dull, and you can sometimes feel like you want to fall asleep in the stands at times. But yesterday certainly was a much more entertaining game and a much more positive performance by Watford, actually, especially towards the end of that second half. But first, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the channel by clicking the big red button down below. It'd be very much appreciated. Leave a like on the video and let me know your own thoughts on the game in the comment section down below as well. We're trying to hit 900 subscribers prior to the end of this season, so if you could hit that button, you'd go a long way in helping us achieve that goal. But yes, talking about the game yesterday, a few big talking points, of course. Going into the game, we highlighted that former Watford midfielder Ozan Tufan would be playing for Hull City. At Watford, he played in that midfield position, or advanced midfield position, if you will. But for Hull City, he kind of plays as a false nine, playing up front, dropping in between the lines at times as well, alongside Fabio Carvalho, who I thought had a great game yesterday, of course, on loan from Liverpool, I believe. And Fabio Carvalho was the one who went down in the penalty area and won Hull City that penalty. I think it was Wesley Hoot who put in the attempted challenge. For me, watching from the stands, it definitely was a penalty. I've seen a replay of the game since then, and I do agree and stand by my decision. I think it's a clear penalty by Wesley Hoot. A bit of a rash challenge, really. He put a foot in, didn't get contact on the ball, and yeah, a clear penalty for me. Ozan Tufan, of course, being the villain in this game, stepped up to take it. I don't know if his Hull City's penalty take it anyway. I believe he may be, but it certainly added to the drama of the game, having Ozan Tufan stepping up against his former club and against his former goalkeeper, Daniel Bachmann, to take it. Now, Bachmann, of course, I watched his post-match interview, and he said actually Ozan Tufan did a double bluff. So Ozan Tufan usually goes the other way to the way he shot against Bachmann in the game yesterday. But Bachmann knew he would do that, did the double bluff, and then went down to his left-hand side to save the penalty for Watford, which was a great moment. A lot of people in the stands celebrated that moment like a goal. And actually, I think it's good for me to see Dan Bachmann getting some plaudits, actually, because he's had a really, difficult season at Watford, a tricky season to navigate for him personally, I think. Obviously, Blair and Ismail come in, made him club captain, which should be a great moment for anybody in their career to captain a club in the Championship. And then he got dropped for Ben Hamer. Wesley Hoot basically attained the captaincy from him, which, you may agree, you may disagree with that decision. But I think for Daniel Bachmann personally, that would have been quite hard to take, you'd think, from a professional standpoint. And then he's won his place back since Tom Cleverley's come back into the fold. And actually, in the past 1.5 months, 2 months, he's put in some really great performances. And yesterday, again, the second half, a great save from Fabio Carvalho's free kick. Late on in the game, I think Liam Delap had a shot as a substitute, and then he made a double save from that as well, Dan Bachmann. So for me personally, there was 2 potential man of the matches yesterday for me in the stadium. I thought Yassir Asprilla again showed his quality yesterday, creating so many opportunities for Watford, dropping into spaces, playing some lovely passes, making some great runs, some great turns. But for me yesterday, Dan Bachmann kept Watford in that game. Great penalty save, great double save towards the end as well. So my man of the match of yesterday is definitely for Dan Bachmann. Looking at the bigger picture under Tom Cleverley's managerialship so far, if that's a word, yes, it's another draw, unfortunately, for Cleverley. He desperately wants that home victory before the end of the season, and he only has one more opportunity to do so against Sunderland at Vicarage Road this weekend. But for me personally, my gut feeling tells me he will probably get the managerial job at the end of the season. I think for Gino Pozzo, it should be a no-brainer, really. Cleverley is adored, it seems, by the players and both by the fans as well. He showed for me in the past 5, 6, 7 games against really top Championship opposition that he can compete with them in these matches for a full 90-minute period. And he clearly has the tactical nous and knowledge already in his very short career to suggest to me he will succeed at Watford if given the right resources, and the fact he should be backed financially by the board in the summer. I think that's the two caveats for me. But so far, so good for Cleverley. He's looking good. A young English manager. He knows the club. He's played for the club. He's captained the club. That's enough positives there for me to suggest he should get the role in the summer. And do you agree with my sentiment? Let me know if you think Cleverley should get the managerial job in the comments section down below. And to end the video, as I said, only 2 games left now of this quite disappointing Championship season for Watford. I don't think we can actually finish in the top half of the table anymore mathematically, which is a real shame actually. So it's going to be a bottom half Championship finish for Watford, which I think is going to be the lowest finish for Watford since the 09-10 season, which is a long time ago. I was only a very small child at that time. So yeah, quite a while ago from my perspective. And it shows where Watford are at as a club really at the moment. But hopefully with Cleverley at the helm in the summer, fingers crossed, and with some backing in the transfer window, bringing in the right characters and the right players, hopefully we'll have a much more positive season next year. Sunderland next weekend, Middlesbrough away at 12:30 to end the season in 2 weeks' time. Let's end the season on a high, and yeah, look forward to the summer with some great sporting events. You've got the Olympics going on in July, and then the Euros start towards the end of June as well, and that'll be fantastic to watch. And of course, we'll be here throughout the summer on the Watford Way talking about all the transfer news, all the kit news. Obviously, the new home kit will be coming out in the summer as well, which will be exciting, and everything else to do with Watford we'll of course cover here on the Watford Way. So thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your support. 2 games to go, and we'll see you next time for another match preview. Bye bye.